Welcome back to English R&L. Today's story will make you smile, laugh, and learn English in the most natural way. My name is Anna Williams, and I live in a sunny, small but lively city in California. To most people, California means Hollywood, beaches, palm trees, and beautiful sunsets. To me, it also means crowded freeways, expensive coffee, and the sound of my neighbor's dog barking at 6 a.m. every single morning. Still, I love it here. The city feels alive, always moving, and full of stories. I work as an English tutor. Some people teach math, some people teach history, but me, I teach English, one-on-one, usually to adults who want to improve their speaking skills. For me, teaching is not only a job, it's a little adventure. Each new student is like opening a new book. You don't know the story yet, but you can't wait to discover it. One Monday morning, while I was sipping my first cup of coffee and trying to convince myself that jogging could wait until next year, my phone rang. "Hello, is this Anna, the English tutor?" A man's voice asked. His voice was deep, polite, but also nervous, like someone calling for a dentist appointment. Double quotes, "Yes, this is Anna. How can I help you?" I said, "My name is David Miller, i.e. I need help with English. My boss says I must improve my English if I want to get promoted. Could you teach me?" I smiled, though he couldn't see me. I had heard this kind of story many times. People don't usually call an English tutor for fun. They call because something important is at stake: a job, a dream, or maybe just the ability to order a sandwich without panic. "Of course," I said warmly. "We can set up a lesson. Do you have time this week?" "Yes," he said quickly. "Any time. Tomorrow, please." He sounded desperate, which made me both curious and a little amused. Usually, people want to start next week or the week after. But this man wanted English lessons immediately, as if his promotion depended on tomorrow's grammar test. "All right," I said. "Let's meet tomorrow afternoon at Bluebird Cafe. Do you know it?" "Yes," he replied. "I'll be there." The next day, I arrived at Bluebird Cafe, a cozy little coffee shop with jazz music playing in the background and the smell of cinnamon rolls floating through the air. I loved this place. The chairs were mismatched, the lights were soft, and the barista had rainbow-colored hair and always wore socks with funny patterns. I looked around and spotted a tall man by the window, holding a notebook and looking like he was about to take an exam. He was in his early 30s, wearing a blue shirt that was a little too formal for a coffee shop. His brown hair was neatly combed, and his glasses made him look serious, almost like a scientist who had lost his lab. I walked over. "Hello, are you David?" I asked. He jumped up so fast that his coffee nearly spilled. Yes, I'm David. You must be Anna, the tutor." "That's me," I smiled. "Nice to meet you." We shook hands, and I noticed his hand was warm but slightly trembling. He was nervous. We sat down, and I pulled out my notebook. "All right, let's start simple. Introductions. Okay, David," I said. "Repeat after me. Hello, my name is David. Nice to meet you." He cleared his throat and repeated, "Hello, my name is David. Nice to meet you." Not bad at all, except his nice sounded more like knees. "Almost perfect," I said kindly. "But not knees. It's nice with an AI sound. Imagine you're saying ice cream. Nice." He tried again. "Nice to meet you." "Perfect," I said. His shoulders relaxed a little, and I could see a small smile appear on his face. We continued. I asked him to tell me about his hobbies. What do you like to do in your free time? He thought for a moment and said proudly, I like cookie. I raised my eyebrow. You like cookie? Do you mean cookies or cooking? His eyes widened. Ah, yes, cooking. Cooking food, but also cookies. We both burst out laughing. Okay, I said, still giggling. That's a good mistake. But remember, cooking equals making food. Cookie equals sweet biscuit, like chocolate chip cookie. He nodded. I like both, but maybe too many cookies. He patted his stomach with a shy grin. As the lesson continued, David seemed to relax. His English wasn't bad, but he was clearly afraid of making mistakes. I told him, don't worry. Mistakes are your friends. If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn. He nodded slowly. Mistakes are friends. Exactly, I said. Except maybe grammar mistakes in a love letter. Those are dangerous. He laughed, and it was the first time I heard his genuine laugh. It was deep and warm, the kind of laugh that made other people want to laugh too. We also talked a little about American culture. I explained that Americans often start conversations with small talk, weather, sports, weekend plans. For example, I said, someone might ask you, how's the weather? Or did you watch the game? It's not about the weather or the game. It's just a way to be friendly. He tilted his head. So, they don't care about the weather. I laughed. Not really. They just want to connect. It's like a key. You use it to open the door to a real conversation. When the lesson ended, David looked like a different person. His nervousness had melted into a smile. Thank you, Anna, he said. I was nervous before, but now I feel better. You are very patient. Don't worry, I said kindly. Learning English is a journey. Step by step, you'll get there. Step by step, he repeated slowly, as if he wanted to keep the phrase forever. He stood up, shook my hand again, and said, see you next time, teacher. And for some reason, when he said it, I felt a little warm inside. Not hot coffee warm, but the kind of warm you feel when something new and unexpected is about to begin. After David left, I stayed in the cafe for a while, sipping my latte and thinking about him. He was different from my other students. Many students came just to pass a test or improve their grammar, but David seemed to carry a quiet determination, mixed with a little awkward charm. I opened my notebook and wrote a few things down. Practice introductions again. Teach pronunciation of cook versus cookie. Encourage him to speak more freely. Remind him that mistakes are okay, but in the corner of the page. I also wrote something I usually never write. Interesting student. The following week, David and I met again. This time, he looked more relaxed. He even ordered coffee for both of us before I arrived. Latte for you, he said proudly, handing me the cup. I remember. I raised an eyebrow. You remembered my order. Yes, he said. Good memory is important for English. I laughed. True, but it's also important for being a gentleman. He blushed. We started with greetings again. Hello. How are you today? He asked. I'm good, thanks. And you? I replied. I'm good too, but tired. My boss is. How do you say strict? Yes, I nodded. Strict, or demanding, he repeated. Strict. My boss is strict, but English teacher is nice. I laughed. Careful, flattery won't give you extra points. He grinned, a little shy, but I could see he enjoyed making me laugh. Asterisk, I noticed David had trouble with th sounds, like in this or that. Many students struggle with it. I showed him, put your tongue between your teeth, like this, thief, now try, this, that, these, those, he tried, dis, dat, dees, dose. I shook my head, smiling, not dis, dat, it's this, that, like blowing air gently. After several tries, he finally managed, this, that, these, those, yes, perfect. I clapped. He looked proud. Like a child who just rode a bike for the first time. Asterisk, halfway through the lesson, while practicing the sentence, this coffee is hot, David accidentally knocked over his actual coffee. The cup tipped, and brown liquid spread across the table. Oh no, he said. This coffee is too hot. We both jumped to grab napkins. The barista gave us a look that said, not again. We cleaned up the mess, laughing nervously. Well, I said, at least you practiced a real-life sentence. He grinned. Practice makes perfect. I nodded. Exactly. But maybe next time, less coffee, more practice. Asterisk that night, as I wrote in my journal, I couldn't help smiling. David was not just another student. He was clumsy, shy, and sometimes mixed up cooking with cookie. But he had something rare, sincerity. And maybe, just maybe, teaching him would not only improve his English, but also change something in my own life. Asterisk, we kept meeting at Bluebird Cafe, always at the same table near the window. By the second week, the barista already knew us. She would wink at me when she saw David waiting nervously with his notebook. David always ordered a plain black coffee. No sugar, no milk. He said it helped him focus. I, on the other hand, always ordered a vanilla latte with too much whipped cream. Teacher, your coffee looks like a birthday cake, he teased once. And yours looks like punishment, I answered. He laughed, and that became one of our first inside jokes. Asterisk one day, I told him, today we will practice small talk. Small talk is what Americans do all the time at work, in the elevator, at the supermarket. You must survive small talk. He looked confused. Small talk, like, talking about small things. Exactly, I said. Weather, weekend, sports. Nothing deep. It's like verbal ice cream, it melts fast. We practiced. Me. Hi David. How was your weekend? Him. My weekend was 2 days. I nearly choked on my latte. Yes, technically true. But people expect more details. I explained. You can say, my weekend was good. I went to the park. Or I stayed home and watched TV. He tried again. My weekend was good. I stayed home and cleaned kitchen. Perfect. I clapped. That's small talk. See, you survived. He grinned proudly. David struggled with the R sound. He would say light instead of right. I told him, repeat. Red, road, right, rabbit. He said, lead, load, light, labbit. I tried not to laugh, not labbit, rabbit, with R. He tried again. Rarabbit, yes. Exactly. I cheered. He looked very serious and repeated again and again. Rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. The barista passed by, raising her eyebrow at the man chanting rabbit like a magician. I whispered, now people think we are starting a rabbit cult. He laughed so hard he almost dropped his pen. Asterisk, after a few lessons, I gave David his first homework. Write 5 sentences about your day. Simple, short sentences. Next time, he proudly opened his notebook and read, I wake up late. I eat fast breakfast. I go to work. My boss shout at me. I go home, tired. I tried not to smile. His sentences were true, but a little sad. Okay, I said. Very good. But we need to fix grammar. I corrected. I woke up late. Past tense, I ate a quick breakfast. I went to work. My boss shouted at me. I went home tired, he copied carefully. Homework is like medicine, I told him. It tastes bad, but it works. Homework is like medicine, he repeated, nodding seriously. Then he looked up and added, but sometimes medicine makes you sick. I laughed so hard, the barista looked at us again. One afternoon, David asked, Anna, why Americans say what's up when nothing is up? I smiled. Good question. What's up just means how are you? Or what are you doing? You don't answer literally. He frowned. So, if I say, the sky is up, is that wrong? I burst out laughing. Technically true. But no, don't say that. The safe answer is not much. We practiced. Me. What's up, David? Him. Not much. How about you? Perfect. After a few weeks, instead of meeting at the cafe, I suggested we go for a walk in the nearby park. Conversation while walking is natural, I explained. It's good practice. The park was full of families, joggers, and dogs. We strolled slowly, talking about simple things. I pointed at a dog. Look, David. That is a golden retriever. Golden what? Retriever. A type of dog. He nodded. Golden retriever. Very cute. The dog barked at us. David jumped back. Don't worry, I said, laughing. In English, we say, barking dogs seldom bite. It means loud people are usually harmless. He repeated the proverb carefully, as if it was a spell. Then he pointed at a child eating cotton candy. That pink cloud food. What name? Cotton candy, I explained. He smiled. I like pink cloud food better. I couldn't stop laughing. One day, while practicing at the cafe. David surprised me. He looked straight into my eyes and said, in English, Anna, when I started, I was shy. But now, I like to speak English. You make me comfortable. His words were simple, his grammar not perfect, but the sincerity in his voice made my heart skip a beat. I smiled. That's wonderful, David. That's the best compliment a teacher can hear. Inside, though, I felt something more. Something I didn't want to name yet. Our lessons slowly became less about grammar books and more about real life. At first, David was my student. Then, without me realizing, he became my friend. One Tuesday evening, he asked Anna, can we maybe not study at Cath of today? Can we go to grocery store? I need to buy food. Maybe we can practice English there. It was unusual, but I liked the idea. Learning English in a real environment was perfect practice. So we went to Trader Joe's, a popular grocery store. Inside, I made him practice sentences with food.me. What is this? Him. This is apple. Me. Good. Now make a sentence. Him. I like apple. I corrected him gently. I like apples. Plural, because you don't just like one apple, right? He nodded. Yes. I like apples. I like bananas. I don't like broccoli. I laughed. Congratulations, David. That is the most American sentence ever. I don't like broccoli. He grinned. After shopping, David surprised me. Anna, maybe you can come to my apartment. I cook for you. And we practice English. I hesitated for half a second, but then smiled. Okay. But only if you promise not to poison me. Promise, he said seriously. That evening, I discovered David was actually a good cook. He made spaghetti with tomato sauce, And while he cooked, I made him practice English sentences. Me. What are you doing? Him. I am. Cutting tomato. Me. Almost cutting tomatoes. Him. Yes, tomatoes. Later. Me. What are you doing now? Him. I am boiling pastas. Me. Not pastas. Just pasta. Pasta is uncountable. He groaned. English is crazy. I smiled. Yes, but so are Italians when you overcook pasta. He laughed, and in that little kitchen, we both forgot we were teacher and student. After dinner, we sat on his small balcony. The city lights glowed, and the sound of distant cars hummed below. David told me about his family. His parents lived in Texas. He moved to California for work. His father wanted him to succeed, but his boss made him feel small because of his English mistakes. I want to be respected, he said softly. I looked at him. His words were simple, but the feeling behind them was strong. You will be? I said. Because you're working hard. And respect comes to people who don't give up. He gave me a long look, and for a moment, we were silent. The next week. During another real-life lesson, we went to the park again. David tried to compliment me in English. You are very hot, he said. I blinked. Excuse me. He panicked. No, I mean, the weather is hot. You look, warm. No, beautiful. I burst out laughing, and his face turned red. Careful. I teased. In English, you are hot usually means you are attractive, not warm. He covered his face with his hands. English will kill me. Or, maybe save you, I said with a smile. One Saturday, we studied at a library instead of the cafe. While we worked, a young woman, at the next table, smiled at David and said, Excuse me, do you know what time it is? David checked his phone. It is 3:30. Thanks, she said, giving him a friendly smile. David smiled back politely. For some reason, I suddenly felt strange. Why did I care if another woman smiled at him? He was just my student, right? I quickly looked back at my notebook, pretending to be very interested in irregular verbs. At the end of that lesson. David closed his notebook and looked serious. Anna, he said, when I started lessons, I wanted only English for job. But now, I like English for another reason. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, what reason? He hesitated, then smiled softly. Because English means, I can talk to you. My heart skipped a beat. I didn't answer right away. I just smiled back and said, Then let's keep learning, David. Bye. Now, my life had a new rhythm. Monday, Wednesday, Friday David's lessons. But honestly, they didn't feel like lessons anymore. They felt like, life. Every coffee, every park walk, every laugh about English mistakes all felt like chapters in a book I didn't want to end. One Friday afternoon. David texted me, Anna, can you meet tomorrow? Not lesson, just, come. Important. I was curious. Important. Did he finally need help with a big presentation at work? Or maybe something happened with his family? The next day, he picked me up in his car. Instead of our usual cafe, he drove toward the beach. Where are we going? I asked. He smiled mysteriously. Surprise. When we arrived, the beach was glowing with orange sunset. People were walking dogs, kids were playing, surfers were coming out of the water. David carried a small cooler and a picnic blanket. Picnic? I asked, surprised. Yes, he said proudly. I prepare everything. Sandwiches, fruit, soda, romantica comfortable. I laughed. Both are good. As we sat, I couldn't resist turning it into another English lesson. Me. What is this him? This is sandwich. Me. Good. Now plural. Him. Sandwiches. Me. And this. I held up grapes. Him. These are grapes. Me. Perfect. You're getting so good. He grinned. Best teacher. Asterisk. After we ate, the sun dipped lower. The sky turned pink and purple, waves crashing gently in the background. David looked nervous. His hands played with the edge of the blanket. Anna, he began slowly. When I started lessons, I felt small. People laugh at my English. I wanted to be confident. I nodded. And you're improving so much. He shook his head. Not only English, you make me strong, you listen. You laugh at my mistakes, but you never make me feel stupid. With you, I can be myself. I felt my heart race. He took a deep breath. Anna, I think I love you. Silence. Just the sound of waves. My heart was pounding so loud, I was sure he could hear it. Asterisk, of course. Because this was David, he added. But maybe my English is wrong. Maybe I should say, I am loving you. I burst out laughing, tears in my eyes. No, David. That's not how we say it. It's, I love you. Not, I am loving you. He looked embarrassed, but I shook my head quickly. No, don't be sorry. That was, actually, the sweetest grammar mistake ever. Asterisk, I looked at him, his nervous eyes, his hopeful smile. David. I said softly, I think. I love you too. His face lit up like the entire sunset was inside him. Really, really. And for the first time, we kissed soft, warm, with the sound of the ocean around us. Asterisk, we sat there for a long time, just smiling like two kids who discovered a secret. Then David said, half joking, half serious, so, do I graduate from English lessons now? I grinned. Never. Love is the hardest language. You'll need a lifetime teacher. He laughed and pulled me close. Best deal ever. Asterisk, life didn't magically turn into a fairy tale. David still made funny mistakes. I still corrected him. But now, everything felt different. At the grocery store, he proudly told the cashier, "These apples are delicious. And this teacher is my girlfriend." I blushed. The cashier laughed, and David looked like the happiest man alive, and me. I realized something important. I came to America to teach English. But sometimes, love is the best lesson of all. Asterisk, thank you for listening to today's story on English R&L. Keep practicing a little every day, and English will become part of your life. See you in the next video.